time for fundamentals of car audio.
Brought to you by
us. I mean, that's pretty much
DNF Tool Drawer.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, DNF Tool Drawer is a
Did you
place
pay
to
yourself?
be. I did not pay myself. Today's topic is parallel and series. So everyone just sit back for the next couple minutes, hold your questions. Let's bang through this and let's try to learn some stuff, shall we? Oh yeah. And if you'll notice this week I went with a nice white background so it's easy to see. Wiring up your speakers to, I'm working on it. Okay, wiring up your speakers to get the right ohm load is very important. If done improperly, you could blow up the amp, not get all the power from the amp, possibly blow up the speakers. Things to know, and this is really important, guys, is if you have a dual voice coil speaker, they both need to be connected, both voice coils. All right, that's important. You cannot make ohm loads be anything other than what they are. The reason why that's important and why I put that on there is because a lot of people come to us and they'll say, you know, I have a dual 2 ohm voice coil and I need a 2 ohm load. That's not possible. It physically cannot happen. All right. So these are two things that you have to understand. All right. That's why they're red. That's why they're there. That's it. All right, there's no way around any one of these two things. If you need a specific ohm load, you have to get the woofers that will achieve that. There's no magic, okay? Moving on. All right. Series wiring increases numerically, but reduces the stress on the amp. What you see here is a picture of 4 4-ohm loads, and the reason why I made them look like Christmas lights is because this is basically a Christmas light. When one of those breaks, the chain stops and the sound doesn't exist anymore. You go positive to negative, positive to negative, negative to, or you go positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. You know, you daisy chain them as you're seeing here, and that is going to give you a 16 ohm load. Parallel wiring decreases numerically but increases the stress on the amplifier. So the opposite is happening. So when you have 4 4-ohm speakers again, you're going straight negative, straight positive. That is going to be a 1 ohm load. The closer to 0 you get, the harder it is for the amp to power. All right, so the lower you get on that, like the closer to 0, half ohm, that is more stress on that amplifier. Granted, the amplifier should be built to handle that if it is capable of handling those lower ohm loads, but 0 is a dead short, which is, that's it.
You're done.
Half ohm is really freaking close to 0. All right, moving on. One DVC speaker connection. If you have a dual voice coil, dual 2 ohm, and you need a series style connection, this is going to give you a 4 ohm load. And you run a jumper between one side's positive, the other side's negative, and you will get a 4 ohm load. So basically this is the easiest way to wire up a speaker, a jumper across from one to the other, dual voice coil 2 ohm, 4 ohm load, super simple, looking sexy. Now if you have a dual 4 ohm voice coil wired in series, something you will never do unless, or very rarely will you ever do. No, we do that a lot. Forget, take that, sorry, my bad. But in a single woofer application, you won't be going for 8 ohm. This will give you an 8 ohm load in series. If we wire those same ones up in parallel, now it becomes a little bit, the drawing becomes a little bit more complicated. You connect both positives, both negatives together, and that dual voice coil 2 ohm will give you a 1 ohm load. If you have a dual 4 ohm parallel, this will give you a 2 ohm load. So these are all just single woofers and how they work. So there again, parallel, you're seeing that both positives connected together, both negatives connected together, and the number has reduced, whereas when you're in series, that number has increased. So series increases the number, parallel will reduce the number. 2 DVC speakers connected. Connections. Dual voice coil, 2 ohm. So we're doing a series parallel connection. This is a real popular connection that we do a lot of. So you take both of those woofers and individually you make a jumper go from each woofer, and that'll put them in series and give us our 4 ohm load. And now we're going to go parallel, and that will give us our 2 ohm load. We've reduced. So we've increased to reduce. Fun. Alright, moving on. The same is true when we do it with a dual 4 ohm. This is the one nice one because you have dual 4, you're going to end up, if you go back, dual 2s will give you a 2 ohm load. Dual 4s will give you a 4 ohm load when you're looking at pairs, when you're doing series parallel. Now if we're just going to do parallel, where everything is going to be parallel, there again, those dual 4s are going to give us that 1 ohm mono on that amplifier. Oh, and that was the end of that. And if you have dual 2s, that's going to give you your 1/2 ohm on your amplifier.